Hi all, welcome to EzhilOps. Alright, so in this video we are going to talk about something that is literally powers most of the internet today, cloud computing. Not just cloud computing in general, we are diving into three biggest cloud platforms in the world: AWS, Microsoft Azure, GCP, Google Cloud Platform. Now, if you are someone trying to enter IT, DevOps, cybersecurity, automations, or AI, or even software development, understanding cloud is no longer optional. Every modern company today runs on cloud infrastructure in some way. So, in this video, I'll explain what cloud computing actually is, why companies are moving to the cloud, how AWS, Azure, and GCP differ from each other, and which cloud platform might be best for you or for the organization. So let's start here. What is cloud computing? First, let's understand what cloud computing actually means. Traditionally, companies had to buy physical servers, networking equipments, and storage devices, eventually maintain everything inside their own data centers. That means huge upfront cost, maintenance, cooling, security, backups, basically a lot of headache. Cloud computing changed that completely. Instead of owning infrastructure, you simply rent computing resources over the internet. Need a server? You create one in minutes. Need more storages? Scale instantly. Need AI services, database, Kubernetes clusters, automation tools, everything is available on demand. And best part, you only pay for what you use. That's why cloud becomes one of the biggest revolution in modern IT. Benefits of cloud computing. So why businesses moving massively towards cloud platforms? There are four major reasons. First, scalability. Imagine your application suddenly gets millions of users. In traditional infrastructure, scaling could take weeks or months. But in cloud, you can scale almost instantly. Second, cost efficiency. Company doesn't need to invest huge amount into hardwares anymore. Cloud converts heavy capital expensive into flexible operational cost. Third, security and reliability. Cloud providers invest billions into security, compliance, backups, and disaster recovery. In many cases, cloud infrastructure is actually more secure than traditional on-prem infrastructures. And finally, speed and agility. Developers can deploy applications globally within minutes. The speed changes how business innovates. Now let's talk about the biggest player in cloud computing, Amazon Web Services. AWS was launched back in 2006 and today it dominates the cloud market. One reason AWS became so powerful is because of the sheer number of services it offers. Need virtual servers, you have EC2, need serverless computing, you have Lambda, need storages, you have S3 buckets, need managed databases, you have RDS, need machine learning, you have SageMaker. AWS is extremely powerful because it gives developers almost unlimited flexibilities. So that's why startups, enterprise streaming platforms, gaming companies, and even governments using AWS. If you want the broadest cloud ecosystem with the largest service catalog, AWS is usually the first choice. The next, Microsoft Azure. Azure became incredibly popular because most enterprises already use Microsoft technologies like Windows servers, Active Directories, Microsoft 365s, Teams, and their all other service storage services, etc. So enterprise Azure integrations feel very natural. One of the Azure's biggest strength is hybrid cloud. So many organizations still have on-prem infrastructure. Azure allows them to connect cloud and on-prem environment smoothly. So services like Azure Arc, Azure Stack, these helps these hybrid connectivities. Azure is also heavily used for enterprise identity management, automations, DevOps, and security. If your organization already lives inside Microsoft ecosystem, Azure becomes extremely powerful. Next, now let's talk about Google Cloud Platform, GCP. Google Cloud is built on same infrastructure that powers Google Search, Gmail, and YouTube. GCP is specifically famous for data analytics, AI, machine learning, and Kubernetes. In fact, Kubernetes itself was originally created by Google. Services like BigQuery, Vertex AI, and Google, Google Kubernetes engine are incredibly powerful for modern data-driven applications. GCP is also known for strong innovation in open source technologies and developer friendly tool. So if your focus is AI, analytics, machine learning, or containerization workloads, GCP becomes very attractive. AWS versus Azure versus GCP, the comparison. So which cloud platform is actually best? Honestly, there is no universal winner. Each platform dominates different areas. AWS is known for its massive service ecosystems and market leadership. Azure dominates enterprise integration and hybrid cloud environments. GCP stands out in AI analytics, Kubernetes innovations, and nowadays many large organizations are actually multi-cloud strategies, meaning they use AWS for one workload, Azure for another, and GCP for analytics and AI. The real answer depends on your workload, budget, existing infrastructure, and the long-term goals. Choosing the right cloud. So, how do you choose the right cloud? You need to look a few things. What kind of application are you running? What are the compliance requirement? What's your team already experienced with? What's your budget? For example, if your company heavily use Microsoft products like Teams for communication, SharePoint for collaborative shared repo, and Azure DevOps board for task assigning and management, something like that, and Azure makes more sense in that. If you want to maximize flexibility and service operations, no matter, you need to just jump into AWS. AWS is amazing in this field. If your workload is more focused on AI and big data, just move into GCP. GCP shines in this. The important thing is understanding the business requirement first, then choosing the right cloud accordingly. Yes. Real world examples. Let's look into real world examples. Netflix uses AWS to stream content globally to millions of users with a massive scalabilities. As I mentioned, Azure AWS always supports this scalability because it has data centers literally everywhere. And everybody knows LinkedIn use Azure for Microsoft acquired the platform already. So LinkedIn use Azure, which leverages hybrid and infrastructure scales. So LinkedIn uses Azure for their platforms. And hope you all know Spotify. Spotify uses GCP where analytics and a tool to personalize music recommendations for users worldwide. These companies shows how cloud platforms are not just infrastructure providers anymore. They are innovation platforms. We need to choose our platform based on our own requirement rather than the services which provide. So that was a complete beginner friendly overview of cloud computing and the three biggest cloud providers AWS, Azure, and GCP. And honestly, this is just a beginning. Cloud computing connects with DevOps, cybersecurity, AIs, automations, Kubernetes, serverless computing, infrastructure as code, and so much more. If you want to build a strong career in IT, learning cloud is the biggest investment you can make right now. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay connected. We'll be covering deep dive, hands-on labs, architecture explanations, automation projects, even certifications, everything. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.